All right, welcome to another edition of the On the Mic podcast. Not often do I get to talk to many fighters during fight week, let alone their coaches. And this man has not only won the Ultimate Fighter, been inside the octagon himself, but he'll have the honor and assignments of coaching Kevin Holland against Derek Brunson this weekend. You probably heard this man and Kevin on the Joe Rogan podcast not too long ago. He's the one and only Coach Travis Lutter. Coach, how are you?
Doing great, man. How are you?
Doing good. So first and foremost, let's just kind of talk about how's it going, everything with you? I know you kind of talked your gym was closed down for a little while. You had said I'm not closing down again. It seems like we're starting to slowly but surely get out of this thing, hopefully, with the COVID-19 pandemic and changing everything. For you, what has this last year been like for you?
The last year was a huge challenge, both emotionally and financially. It's like anytime you get, shut down the gym, immediately everybody wants to put their contracts on hold or quit. It's like, so it's like we lost a lot of, momentum going into the year. It's like we had the first 2 months of the year were pretty good. And then, to have, hey, Ronan, stop. I'm on. Sorry.
Okay.
It's like we're just trying to do our thing, and it's like make money, and then they came in and they shut us down, and it made it really, really difficult. And my gym did surprisingly better than a lot of gyms. I've talked to a lot of my contemporaries, and it seems like they've suffered a lot more than I've had or ended up suffering. I think there was a few things that I did that was a little bit different than a lot of the guys that really helped us to recover faster than they did. It's like I know a lot of gyms had to downsize staff or downsize their facility. I was lucky enough that I didn't have to do that. And I feel very fortunate.
Yeah, I think for me, it's kind of, and coming, from you, a guy who's been in the octagon as a competitor, as a fighter, and now a coach, a big thing for me doing this show when I talk to coaches is understanding a coach's mentality more than just the fighter's mentality. So for you, how do you keep not only yourself and a business, and as you said, financially and emotionally, keep yourself moving forward, but you've got a team of fighters behind you that kind of look to you to be their leader. So how was that challenge for you?
That was definitely a huge challenge, because it's like we were, running illegal open mats, not really open mats, but team training, with mostly police officers and Ronan, stop. I'm busy right now. The kids are on spring break, so
I got
school. It's like they, where was I? I'm sorry.
Just talking about police officers on the mat.
Oh yeah, we have the police officers, etc., stuff like that. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Jay, can we pause this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll just start over with that question. So when we talk about the challenges for not only yourself, as a coach, emotionally, financially, but also you got a team of fighters behind you, looking at you, and I'll stop right there and ask this question. There's many fighters I know here in the Chicago area, because as you know, Chicago's not a hotbed for, local
right.
MMA talent. People leave nonstop. So there's a lot of younger fighters who not only put their training on hold, they just looked and said, well, if I can't train, I think I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. So I feel like that was another challenge that a lot of people didn't see behind closed doors, is how do you keep your team moving forward?
That was a huge challenge. It's like you've got all these guys who want to train. There's guys who are trying to, make careers. There's, it's like, and then, it's just your average Joes. It's like these are, your police officers, your firemen, your guys who are coming in here for stress relief, and to be healthy and to make sure that they are, moving forward and going in the right direction. It's like for themselves, just, physically, mentally. And it's like, so you get these guys that aren't able to train, aren't able to do what they want to do. It's like, I'm not sure at what point in time America decided that, your health is my responsibility,
Right.
but it's like, but it's not, it's like your health. It's like, I'm not walking around knocking bonbons and, ho-hos out of people's hands,
Right.
going, hey, this is dangerous. What the fuck are you doing? Putting this poison in your body. It's like, but they tell me that I can't train. And it's like, and so when we opened back up, that was my attitude. It's like, hey guys, you want to come train, come train. If you don't feel comfortable, it doesn't matter. Reason, hey, no problem. We can cancel your contract. You know, I wish you the best, and we're going to move on. But we're not going to do social distancing. We're not going to do that because it's impossible. And so we moved. It's like the first day we opened up, it was classes as normal. It's like, I'm not doing this because it's not feasible in my business to do this. It's not feasible for the health and the well-being of my clients either. It's like, it wasn't healthy for me to sit on the sidelines and not train for 6 weeks. It wasn't healthy for my clients, and so that's how I opened back up. And it's like, and I proclaimed to everybody that was in classes that we're not shutting down again. The government can come in and say that we're going to shut you down or we're going to fine you. I'm not shutting down. It's like, and we, it's like, and I'm lucky I live in Texas. I'd probably be in jail.
Well, thank God you're not. But no, I have to kind of somewhat agree with you. Like, obviously, you take the pandemic as seriously as you feel fit, no matter who you are. But like, to your point, there's not people that are walking around at bars or outside of bars going, hey, before you step inside and have a drink, just know these are the dangers of drinking. Before you put that cigarette in your mouth, so I'm totally in agreement with you there. I'm also in agreement with just how the UFC came back. And I transitioned away from the major sports on this or covering major sports on this podcast to covering MMA about 5-6 years ago. And for me, like, I've never been more proud of being a part of something than when Dana White was like, yeah, we're bringing this shit back and we're going to be the first ones back. And even now, I still get annoyed when you see these countdown shows or the embeddeds, and you can see, like, I understand you got to make things look good for the cameras, but like, you have fighters, footage of them training in the gym with their mask on, but then they're getting in the cage. It's like, we understand why you're doing it and why you're asking them to have the mask on while the cameras are rolling. But then you guys go in fight week, you take 3, 4, 5 tests, and then it doesn't matter anymore. So I'm still somewhat.
But they still make us wear fucking masks to the octagon.
I know.
It's like, I gotta sit there in the side of the octagon and wear a mask. It's like, okay, in this area back here in the warm-up area, you don't have to wear a mask. But over here, as soon as you walk out of this part of the building, you got to wear a mask. Everybody that works at the UFC, every fighter, it's like, I get tested 3 times. And I have to pass all 3 tests. And the other crazy thing is it's like, I trained with people that tested positive. It's like, where I had been training, I trained with them right up until they tested positive the same day on one of them. And I didn't get COVID. I started training really, really hard, and I ended up getting COVID myself. And it's like, it sucks. It's like, it's not fun. It's like, it's definitely a real thing. Definitely not denying that it's here. I'm just saying, it's like, hey, how we're handling it as a world. And this is really a world problem. Is craziness. It's like, they're killing the economy of the world. They're killing the, it's like there's going to be way more people that starve to death because of COVID-19 than people that died from COVID-19, and that's because of lack of money. It's like, this is going to hurt third world countries. They're more than it ever has killed anything. And it's like, and I feel bad for anybody who's lost a loved one. It's like, my parents had it, they survived. They got sick. They're both in the age group that it's like, they're at risk.
Yeah.
And they both have had it, and it's like, and they're both fine now. It's like, it's it is unfortunate for the people. It's like, if you, and what they're finding is it's like, if you're vitamin D deficient and if you're obese, it's like, you have a lot higher chance of dying. Get out fucking side, eat something healthy. It's like, don't tell me not to train.
Yeah, no, I'm in total agreement with you. I mean, I have that here. My parent, she's got a lot of those underlying conditions, and like, when anytime she's like, oh, I don't feel good, I'm like, oh, like, please, like. But then you try to have that conversation, like, hey, maybe we should change this up, at least for right now, but there's things that you just can't control other people, but they're trying to control what we do on a day-to-day basis. So I'm with you on that.
I'm the problem. No, I'm not the problem. It's like, listen, me training, it's like, listen, let the people, it's like, the rest of the world can do what it wants, but America is supposed to be the land of the free, home of the brave. And it's like, we are not being free and we're not being brave.
Well, I think it's something Rogan kind of talked to you and Kevin about when you guys were on his show. Like, LA is no longer LA. Like,
no, LA.
like what? Like, like that's crazy to me. I mean, I've never had, the opportunity to go to LA, but now I don't even know if I'd want, like, it's how much of it is gone.
I was in LA last month and it was, it's different. It's like everything's boarded up. The restaurants are, it's a pain in the ass to eat anything there because it's like all the restaurants are dead. There's no indoor dining. They do the social distancing thing. It's like it's a huge pain in the ass. And then the homelessness problem, it's like is much more rampant than it's ever been. So it's like it's really, really unfortunate. I don't blame the homeless. It's like it's like if you lost your home because of COVID-19, that's very, very unfortunate. It's like, I mean, there's people, how many people have lost their jobs? How many people have lost their businesses? It's like that, it's countless, it's like unemployment's higher. It's like, but yes, we've saved, some, people.
Yeah. I mean, I was, year and a half ago, I was moving from Chicago to New York City to work in New York City, and then COVID hit, and I'm back in Chicago. So
exactly.
I'm lucky that I have enough around me to move forward. But I didn't expect that when I landed in New Jersey and started working in New York City that I'd be back, less than a year later, in Chicago. But like you said, it's what COVID-19 has done. But one of the biggest things I wanted to ask you, because I went back and listened to you say this line about 10 times, and you said it on the Rogan podcast, is that Kevin Holland is hands down probably the best fighter you've ever trained with.
I'm not saying he's the best fighter. I say he's the best athlete. Best athlete. It's like he's got a ways to go to become the best fighter. It's like, and maybe I said that, but what I meant was
I may be wrong there. I may be wrong, so I don't want to misquote you.
It's like Kevin is the most talented guy that I've ever been around. His ability to learn, his athleticism. It's like, Kevin's, it's like, it's just the tip of the iceberg on what he's shown in the ring. It's like he had a very, very good 2020 showing what he could do. But it's like, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Kevin is better than we saw. It's like, he's a very, very good athlete, and time will tell if he reaches his potential. If Kevin reaches his potential, I think he's, it will be up there with John Jones.
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue against that. For you as a coach, though, like I know it's been talked about at length all over the place is, how Kevin came into the UFC and big mouth and, talking during fights and all that. When you have a guy who you just said, if all goes according to plan, could be up there with John Jones in his career, I wonder for you, how do you kind of hone that in? Because you want your fighter to be the person that they are, but not lose focus inside the cage or outside of the cage. So how do you kind of bring it all together with Kevin?
With Kevin, it's like, it's definitely been a learning process because coaching Kevin is different than I've ever had to coach anybody else. It's like, it's there's certain things. It's like, the talking thing is like, I ended up doing some research and, figured out that like Jack Johnson and stuff like that, talked in the ring. And, it's like, and this isn't, some of the greats that, they just talk shit. And it's just, it's just his personality. Getting him to not talk is hard. It's like, and the whole thing is when he gets, a little bit of anxiety or something like that, he's going to talk. And so it's like, it's way healthier for him to be talking. I like it when Kevin talks now. I want him to talk. I like him when he talks in the ring, when we're training. It's like, we'll be having a full-on conversation in the middle of his training session. He's telling me something stupid. It's like he's being funny. It's not stupid. I shouldn't say stupid, but it's like he's just being Kevin. And so it's like Kevin is a challenge, and but he's also so athletically gifted. Kevin's smart too. It's like that's the whole other thing that people don't understand is that Kevin's very, very intelligent. It's like he's a Kevin's a great guy.
As a man who's, like I said, been in there as a fighter, you've won the Ultimate Fighter. You know what it takes to be a fighter. Why is it so important as a coach and just as a person to person, man to man? Is it so important to let Kevin Holland be Kevin Holland?
Because it's like, telling me not to be me is it's like I'm kind of a dick. I say, it's like the things that make me work as a coach, or when I was fighting, is I'm extremely honest. I'm blunt. I forget that people have feelings. It's like, and these are the things that I am, I have faults with, but it's like, that's just kind of who I am, and it's like, and asking me to not be that guy wouldn't work either. It's like, I have to be blunt. I have to be honest. And it's like, or I'm just not me. And it's like, and Kevin's the same way. It's like, Kevin just needs to be him. And it's like, this is what works for Kevin. Kevin talks shit. It's like, Kevin's over here, it's like, Kevin's, fucking with Derek Brunson for over a year now. It's like, it's like, I mean, Brunson's going to probably try to kill him when they go in the ring. I think that benefits Kevin. Kevin's over here in his inbox, fucking with him, posting shit online. And it's just, that's just Kevin. He wants to get under your skin. He wants to fuck with you. And, it's like, and they'll be buddies afterwards, or maybe they won't. I don't know. It's like, Kevin don't give a fuck. So,
which is one of my favorite things about, not yourself and Kevin and just fighters who have that and coaches who have that same mentality that you're talking about. When, going into this past year, and you said it was a great 2020 for Kevin Holland, not a lot of people could say that, inside the octagon, outside the octagon. What was it like having to coach in these empty arenas? Do you prefer it that way?
When I'm watching, I definitely prefer to have an audience. I like the noise. I like the excitement. I like the energy, stuff like that. Coaching kind of goes both ways. It's kind of nice that the fighter can hear me. But it's like, sometimes it's like, feeding off the energy. If you've got a fighter like Kevin's going to feed off the energy of the crowd and stuff like that. And it's like, when he's tired, he might dig a little bit deeper just because there's people watching and stuff like that. It's like, it's good, bad, like the smaller octagon, in theory shouldn't benefit Kevin, the way he moves and stuff like that. It's like, it hasn't been a problem yet. It's like, it's catch-22. And the whole thing is it's like, at the end of the day, the other team's got to deal with it too. It's like, we're on even ground. It's all good.
When you have an incredible knockout like Kevin did against Jacare, how do you handle that? Do you have it like, obviously he knows, and he kind of said it himself, like, hey, that's not going to happen every single time, but I just got to do something better the next time out. Like, yeah, you want to celebrate the victory, but when you guys get back in the gym, you say, I loved it. It was great, but like, you can't expect that to happen every single fight.
Kevin's a veteran at this point. It's like, yeah. Kevin understands the game. It's like, Kevin's got how many fights now? It's like, no, Kevin understands. It's like, there's going to be fights where guys don't fall down. And there's going to be fights where guys do fall down. And he's very aware. And it's like, he knows that was, it's like, I think we beat Jacare every time at this point. It's like, it's like, it's a fight. We'll have to wait and see.
Do you like this match, like not just where it is, like stylistically, but do you like having a guy like Derek Brunson who's not afraid to talk shit back? It's a marquee matchup. It's the main event, and then you have almost really kind of a top 5 ranking, possibly at stake here. If everything goes according to plan.
Yeah, this is a great fight for Kevin. This is really, really good. It's like, and it's a contrasting styles. You've got Brunson, who's the wrestler and going to be trying to take Kevin down, and Kevin's knocking people out, submitting people. People don't think his wrestling's that good. It's like, I think it's a great fight. I'm super excited for Kevin.
How do you feel about him being or wanting to be active so much all the time? Like, you love it? I didn't hear you. What was that?
No, Kevin needs to be active. Kevin definitely needs to be active. It's like, Kevin likes to fight. It's like, if Kevin could fight 5-6 times a year, for the next 4 or 5 years, that'd be amazing. It's like, I know that that's not going to be possible. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be this and that. But it's like, I really think, go back to some of these old boxers. It's like, in the 60s and 50s, that's about how often they fought. And it's like, it's like, rather than wearing yourself out in the gym, it's like, let's wear ourselves out when we're fighting. It's like, train, fight. Train, fight. It's like his window of opportunity to make money is very, very short. And, I prefer he make as much money as he can. I think that's him getting in front of people and fighting. And it's like, and I think he'll improve. And, by trying to get better and fight, I wish he could fight another 5 times this year. It'd be great.
Yeah, no, I love that mentality from you. Just a few more here from you, Coach. And I really appreciate your time this morning. When we talk about like this matchup and just Kevin Holland's career and where it's going, have you had that conversation with him? Like you're getting more shine, you're getting a bigger spotlight, and it's growing. And obviously you're not going to change Kevin Holland, the person or the fighter, but kind of handling as he continues to rise in his career.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of conversations about it. It's like, it's one of those things that it's like, I think I believed it before Kevin did. And, it's like, and so I've been talking to, hey, Kevin, you could be one of the best. And now I think he's starting to believe, it's like he didn't maybe see it as soon as I did. He just thought the way he was doing it was normal. And it's like, because he doesn't know any different. It's like he just believes that everybody's this athletic. He doesn't understand why people can't do what he can do. And that's the huge problem is that, making him realize, okay, maybe I am different. And I really believe that he's starting to believe now.
We've had a lot of controversy, in the last few weeks inside the octagon, the Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling illegal knee. We had an illegal knee in the Eric Anders fight this past weekend, and then the eye poke. Like, Coach, what can we do as someone who's been on both sides, as a coach, as a fighter? What can the UFC and the sport of MMA do to kind of prevent it? I know it's going to be hard to say it's never going to happen, but can there be changes being made?
The eye poke thing is we need to go back to the UFC or the Pride gloves. The Pride gloves were great because they curved your fingers and made it hard to extend. And it's like, so it was like, this is the way it wanted to have it. And that got rid of eye pokes. And so you just didn't see eye pokes in Pride because it was really, really hard. The other thing is they need to, as soon as, whether it's intentional, non-intentional, it's like some of these guys have a style where they like to flick their fingers towards your eyes. And I just think that as soon as you eye poke somebody, that's a point. It's like, I don't believe that should have been a no contest. You did an illegal technique twice. It's like, this is a loss. You should get an L on that one. And it's like this, it's like when it comes to the eye pokes, I really feel like they should take a harder stance, like Bisping's got a fucked up eye. It's like he's got to wear that thing over, that lens over the top of it. You can't see out of his eye. This is a bad injury. And this comes from eye pokes. And it's like, if I'm not mistaken, that's what that one came from. But it's like, I don't know how his eye is going to be. It's like after this, it's like, eye pokes are a bad thing. And it's like, I don't think that the UFC is taking a hard enough stance on it. I think that they need to put the Pride gloves in or redesign the UFC gloves so that they curve the fingers and make it, why do I need to have my hand like this? I don't need it. It's like, I need my hand here. This is a lot more beneficial because then I can still grab. It's like, I'm not grabbing like this. I'm going to be grabbing like this.
Right.
It's like there's no benefit for the way that these gloves are. They should be that. And then they also need to punish fighters. It's like I don't give a shit if it was intentional and non-intentional. It's like, some of the nicest guys in the world, I poke the hell out of people.
Right.
Chuck Liddell's really, really nice guy, and he's a terrible eye poker, because he's flicking his jab out there, and it's like the way that he did it, and it's like it would. I really think that it would benefit both the UFC and definitely benefit the fighters to change the gloves. As far as the illegal knees, it's a rule. It's like, I thought that that illegal knee that was in the first round, I think the guy should be DQ. I don't think it should be a no contest. I think that should be an L. You fucked up, own it. It's like you did an illegal technique. I think it was first round, wasn't it?
I believe so. Yeah. Because there was
Yeah,
two.
it's like, you if you throw an illegal, we all know the rules, and it's like you make a mistake, I get it. We got to take your L, and I don't think it should be a no contest. I think it's it's like it's like it's we have rules, and that's just that's one of the rules. It's like I don't have a hard time with it. It's like I think that that one especially, it's like that was a huge fuck up on his part. And the whole thing is it's like I've had the argument. I had an argument with one of my students yesterday about it, and his attitude. Oh, they got to change that rule, dude. It's a fucking rule. It's like it's like he says, yeah, but it's like okay, then let's bring in foot stomp or face stomps again. These are like when I can knee you in the face, I'm changing your life. What's the difference in between this and that? Well, I've got you I've got you pinned up against the cage. It's like it takes a lot less skill than landing a flying knee. Landing a flying knee, it's like this is simply I might be just bigger and stronger, and I can just put you in a position and push you into the cage, and then knee you in the face when you're down. And it's like this is a situation where I think you can change somebody's life. It's like that sort of knockout. That's a brutal knockout, and I like the rule. If they want to get rid of the rule, that's fine too. I don't care. But it's like if it's against the rules, it's against the rules.
Right. You would think that would be like the consensus of everybody, but the fans, and I was just saying, the fans bullshit. After the Sterling knee, and you can't tell intent. Like, no, he threw it. Like Peter Yan.
It doesn't matter. Intent doesn't matter. Yeah, it's like, listen, you can go to jail if you're driving down the road and you accidentally kill somebody. That's called manslaughter.
Right.
And it's like, and you go to jail for that. I didn't intend to do it. Yeah, I know, but you're a fucking idiot. You fucking kill somebody, and this happens. It's like God forbid that happens to somebody that's listening to this, and hopefully it never happens to me. It's like you go to jail. You took somebody's life. You fucking caused this guy harm. Did an illegal technique. You deserve to lose. You get an L. It shouldn't be a no contest. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I think the thing that sucks on the other side of it is the narrative, right? Like you mentioned Michael Bisping, Nick Lentz lost vision, throughout his career. That's why he retired. And we have the upcoming heavyweight title fight, and people aren't saying, "Oh, I can't wait to see how Francis has improved." First thing people are saying is, "Man, I wonder how Stipe's eye is going into this fight."
Right.
And it's like, wait, what? Like what?
Cormier did that. It's like when I heard that he had a torn retina and he had it fixed, I was wishing that he would retire. It's like, it's none of my business. I don't know if Steve I've met him once. It's like I don't, but it's like I just don't want to see a guy go blind. You have two eyes. I've got one that's compromised. That means that I've got 50% left. That's not good. It's like that. I think that's the time to start thinking about retirement. But I'm happy. I'm happy to watch the fight. It's like
right, exactly. Yeah,
I just don't want to see him lose an eye.
No, absolutely. Last one here. A lot of outside of these illegal strikes and eye pokes, I think there's been a huge conversation about judging, especially in 2021. And I think part of it is that now that there's kind of no hoopla with the crowd and everything, and like you could distract away, and it's like, all right, let's just read the judges' scorecards. Because you're able to focus as a viewer, you're able to focus on just what's happening inside the cage. People are trying to understand the scoring system a little bit better. And then they get some of these decisions read off, and it just makes no sense. Like, are you in for like open scoring? Like, what is a resolution there?
I would like to personally see, where the judges have to post their score after every round. It's like, I think that then, it's like from a coaching standpoint, hey, you're two rounds down. You better try to kill this guy. You need to take it, you need to take this home. It's like, it's like it would take out from a coach's perspective and a fighter's perspective, you know where you're at. It's like, it's like, hey, the judges gave this, that, okay, you're down, it's like, or you're up, it's like, this would be good information. It's like, we're not playing basketball games or football games, not knowing what the score is until the final bell happens, then they tell us who won. It's like, no, it's like, I would much rather see that As far as the judges, are there bad judges? Yeah, they're terrible judges. It's like, and but I think the judges get it right most of the time. It's like most of the time the judges, it's like sometimes some of these split decisions, you'll just kind of shake your head at. Like I think there was 2 weekends ago where it was, it was a split decision, but the one judge gave, I think, every single round to the other fighter, and then the other, and it's like the other 2 judges had it right, and then I was just shocked. It's like it was a 3-round fight, and that judge gave all 3 rounds to the fighter that he chose, and I don't remember the fight, but it was like, it's unfortunate. It's like I wish that there was a better way than the 10-9. But I don't see it. It's like I didn't like Pride either. It's like I didn't like, because of the 10-minute round. The first 10-minute round, it was just so hard to judge who was going to win the decision. It's like, oh, we got to factor in damage, how the fights, coming in at the end. And, man, it was complicated. It's like this is still better than that.
Well, Coach, you've been more than gracious with your time this morning, especially on fight week. I appreciate it more than you know. You got a lifetime invite to come on the show whenever you're willing and able. Would love to have you on. Best of luck this week. I know it's a huge fight, and wishing you, your team, and Kevin all the best.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yep.